The e-tron is the first pure electric SUV from Audi, and all the figures suggest that it's a good one. It'll do 248 miles to a full charge according to official tests, despite power output of 402 brake horsepower from its dual electric motors. The e-tron's figures look good on paper then, but it has got serious competition in the form of the Jaguar I-Pace, the Mercedes EQC, and even the Tesla Model X. Not only that, but the Mercedes and Jaguar are usefully cheaper, so the e-tron starts at closer to £70,000, where those rivals are more like £60,000 starting price. That's quite a big price gap. Not only that, they go further under official tests too. So what we need to know is, how far does the e-tron go in the real world? Is that competitive with its rivals? And can it justify that price? Charging the Audi's 95 kilowatt-hour batteries is easy. The car comes with standard Type 2 and 3-pin cables that are both 4.5 metres in length, and there are charging ports located on both front wings of the car. Connect to a 7 kilowatt charger, which is a standard speed for many home chargers, and you'll be able to charge the e-tron up in around 13 hours. However, it is also capable of charging at speeds of up to 150 kilowatts from a DC rapid charger, so if you can find a station offering that charging level, you'll be adding around 100 miles of range to the car every 15 minutes. However, you're more likely to find a 50 kilowatt charger in a UK motorway service station, and these will take more like an hour to deliver that 100 miles of range. When you're done with charging, there's a useful storage space underneath the boot floor to keep the cables, or there is additional space in the nose of the car too, although you do have to access it via a very old school bonnet opening release to get to it. So, to get straight to the point, the e-tron's real-world range is actually a bit disappointing. So this has got a 95 kilowatt-hour battery, which is one of the biggest in the class. It's bigger than the Merc and the Jag's batteries. And yet the real-world range is around about 200 miles, and that's even in quite good weather. And if you're driving reasonably sedately, if you really try a bit and, are conscious of the range, then you can eke it up to about 220, 230. But if you use the motorway a lot, or if it's cold weather, then, 200 miles is going to be the best range you're going to get, so it really is a bit disappointing, to be honest. But it is at least a really nice car to drive. It's very comfort oriented, so you get air suspension as standard, and it's got a really lovely sort of wafty way of going down the road. It controls the body quite nicely, especially for such a heavy car, so it doesn't feel too floaty or wallowy or any of that stuff. It's just really nice, very nice, easy and smooth to drive. It's not a terribly fun car around corners at all, actually. It's very heavy feeling. It's very neutral and grippy. It's four-wheel drive, of course. And by the way, this car will tow 1,800 kilos, which is also a good thing. Some electric cars aren't even rated for towing. It's fast too, so 0 to 62 in 5.7 seconds, this thing, which is all well and good. You actually get 302 brake horsepower normally in the e-tron when you're just driving around. And then if you decide to absolutely floor it, then you get this massive surge of power, and it's actually feeding 402 brake horsepower to all four wheels at that point for 8 seconds, so it's a bit like an overboost function. And that's really the most entertaining aspect of driving the e-tron. Going around corners, like I said, just neutral and grippy, but it is fast. It's actually not as fast as the Mercedes EQC or the I-Pace, let alone the Model X. This is a heavy car and it shows. But still, it's fast by anybody's standards. Probably more important to most people buying the e-tron is the brake regen. Now, this is the system whereby, and all electric cars have it, when you lift off the throttle, then it automatically applies the brakes so that it can harvest all that energy and increase the range of the car. It's an efficiency thing. The e-tron has got 2 settings, so you can have sort of mid-level regen or stronger braking. There's also an automatic brake regen mode, which is clever because it senses if there's a car in front and will keep the Audi a decent distance away automatically. So it means that it's varying that brake force as it sees fit to keep you safe and to make the most of the efficiency. Last thing to think about is those wing mirrors, because the e-tron, if you go for the top spec model, gets virtual wing mirrors, an actual camera on the outside of the car that beams a video into the car and shows you what's in your rear 3/4 and functions as a normal wing mirror, except it's a camera. And that is all very exciting and very high tech and will appeal to all you kind of gadget geeks out there. So I get that. The reality is that a standard wing mirror is just better. It is. It's more intuitive, it's less distracting, so do avoid the virtual wing mirrors if you possibly can. This interior is really one of the special things about the e-tron. It feels absolutely gorgeous, and because it's all about these screens, it also feels extremely minimalist. It is a comfortable interior and equipment is very good, so you get electrically adjustable heated seats with lumbar adjustment, you get cruise control, keyless entry, LED headlights, 20-inch alloys, so you get really most of the stuff you're going to want, but there are loads of options that you're probably going to want to also splurge on, including head-up display, traffic sign recognition, adaptive cruise control. Yeah, there's loads of stuff. You really can go to town if you want to. But we would say you're still better off going for a standard e-tron rather than the launch edition, which is the only other trim available but costs like £10,000 more. So go for the cheaper model and just be a bit picky about your options. Of course, in the e-tron it's really all about the screens. The two HD touchscreens in the middle of the dash totally dominate the interior. The lower of the two screens is for climate control, seat heating and all of your cabin and comfort settings, or it doubles up as a touchpad or keyboard when you need it to. The top screen is for media and nav, where you get all of the features you want as standard on every model, including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, sat-nav, Bluetooth, digital radio, wireless phone charging and a 3-year subscription to Audi's online services. The system is easy to use despite the initially overwhelming array of screens. When you access a function or change a setting, the screen actually clicks, so it's easy to know that it's responded, plus the menu layouts are mostly quite logical and the icons easy to understand. It's certainly one of the most high-tech systems in any production car and one of the best. Practicality is another strong point for the e-tron. There's more room in the back than you'll get in the I-Pace or EQC, and the huge boot is also bigger than in any rival short of the Tesla Model X. The e-tron is a great car. It's so lovely inside and it's really practical and comfortable. Those are its real strengths. But there is no getting around the fact that that real-world range is pretty disappointing, particularly given how big the battery is on this car, and its rivals are cheaper. So if you are going to spend this kind of cash on a premium electric SUV, think very carefully about whether one of the longer range alternatives might do much the same, if not a better job, for a bit less cash. For more information, head to DrivingElectric.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're here, and check us out on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.